Welcome back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Josh and Alex.
And today we are reviewing Peacemaker Season 2. We've watched all 8 episodes, and here we are talking about them. It's been a while for me since I've seen the very first one. I was watching it weekly, so it's been a hot minute since I remember the first episode.
But as Alex mentioned, Season 2 of Peacemaker. Obviously, we're not going to go into a entire review of the entire series. Otherwise, this movie would be way too long in terms of doing a recap. But just a quick, essentially, this movie in a, brief, maybe minute cut down is essentially Rick Flag Sr. is now the director of Argus, acting director of Argus, after Amanda Waller was exposed at the end of season 1. And essentially, Rick Flag is kind of on a revenge tour once learning that Peacemaker killed his son, Rick Flag Jr., which was in the events of the Suicide Squad. And along the way of getting his revenge, he basically covers it by saying we're after him because we believe he has some kind of portal technology similar to what Lex Luthor had that almost destroyed Metropolis. And so Peacemaker goes to a different dimension because everything sucks after season 1 for pretty much all of the 11th Street kids. He goes to this other dimension, accidentally kills his doppelganger, and decides, let me see what this dimension's all about. He's like, oh, this dimension seems pretty good. I can be with hardcore. I'm all in. So he goes back home. Is like, yo, do we have a chance? She's like, shut the fuck up, knocks him out. Rick Flag Sr. beats the shit out of him, about to kill him to get his revenge. They're like, whoa, you can't kill him, everyone will know. So they free him. So then Peacemaker's like, all right, well, me and Eagly are heading out. This dimension sucks. We're going to the perfect dimension. So he dips on everybody. The 11th Street kids find out, go to the other dimension. They're like, we need to get you back. Well, they're like, hey, shit's not so sweet over here anymore. This is a whole dimension where the Nazis won World War II. And he's like, that's not ideal. He sees his dad in this dimension die, and his brother Keith, who was alive in this dimension, almost die in front of him until he crashes out, saying, I'm the reason everything bad happens. It doesn't matter what dimension it goes to. I just cause everyone to die. They go back home. He turns himself in and gives Argus his portal and himself, and like, hey, they all came in here to basically turn me in. And then we have the season finale, which I feel like we'll probably talk about that in more depth than everything else. But just to finish this quick, brief synopsis, Argus is essentially working with Lex Luthor and his team extremely close to find a different portal for something, a different world for something. We eventually learn it's because they want Salvation, which is going to be a Metahuman prison because they're tired of Metahumans being able to break out of jail. The 11th Street kids are like, hey, you know what? We're going to stop listening to people. We're going to create our own thing called Checkmate, which is going to be our own thing with Judo Master, Flurry, and
Sasha
Bordeaux, who all have a change of heart in this season to join them. And then we're like, oh, okay, that's the end of the season until Peacemaker is kidnapped and thrown into Salvation by Rick Flag Sr. and the other members of Argus / Lex Luthor's team. We're like, oh, well, you signed up to, check if this is going to be safe for people. So thanks for doing that. He's like, I didn't sign up for this. He's like, this is for Ricky, bitch. Shuts the door. That's the end of the season. So that is our very quick recap of the season. Obviously, there's a lot more things that we'll talk about in more depth. But, yeah, quite a season.
It was a season. I think, my biggest negative towards this season, and I feel like it was also like one of the biggest negatives of the first season as well, is just that it was just so short. Like each episode was 33 minutes, 30 minutes. And it was just like, what are we doing? Like as an HBO show, I feel like this is not the way to go. I feel like you could have easily broadened this up, made it more that like 40 to 50 minutes. And that way we could have gotten a bigger storyline than just, the portal jumping most of this season. We could have been done and over with like after episode 4, and you could have had the whole rest of the second half exploring more about Salvation. I get it, they want to save that for later, but I don't know, personally, since he did mention that Salvation is a big part of the future, and obviously with it's centering around gods and monsters, and yeah, they're gonna want to put them there. I feel like that could have been a lot more interesting to explore, especially if you would have taken half a season to do that instead. But shoehorning that in at the very end feels like a little bit of like would have been nice if we would have gotten this sooner, but it's all right. But that's just my quick thoughts off of the top of my head.
I mean, yeah, this was just, I don't know, man. I mean, I felt the same way about season one. I'll say the best thing to say about this season is it's not season one. I wasn't that big of a fan of the first season. I thought this one was better, but it kind of did, like you said, it was short. It kind of felt like it is supposed to just be a TV show that we're going to get multiple seasons of, than just possibly a 2-season show and series. Really, overall, the main plot was more of developing the characters themselves and their emotional trauma they dealt with from season one, and then also all the shit that happened to Peacemaker this season. But otherwise, the overall kind of pushing forward of what we're going to get more out of Peacemaker or the DC world, that's kind of whatever. I mean, yeah, we finally get something at the very end. Rick Flag Sr., fucking hate the guy. I'll be honest. I'm over his character. He is completely different than what we got out of Creature Commandos. So I almost felt like, what was the point of me watching that? And not only does he not look the same because he refused to dye his hair or even wear a wig, and then also the fact that
the actor was signed on to a different project, the Sylvester Stallone one, that he wasn't allowed to dye his hair at the same time, and they decided that a wig would have looked too fake with his actual hair because he couldn't change out the different projects. So they're like, we're just going to keep your hair and that'll be the only difference.
Yeah, I know that's the case, but I mean, come on now. This actor ain't shit. This is his biggest fucking role. Okay,
well, he's on the Tulsa King with some. He couldn't do.
Well,
he has
so,
two
really?
projects.
Who's fucking watching the Tulsa King? Who's watching that?
My dad was just watching it.
Yeah,
of course he was.
The boomers. The boomers. But yeah, it's just. But also, his character was completely different, personality-wise, and everything. Especially the quick flip on the Soups of how he felt in the show versus literally he's working side by side with them in Creature Commandos and how he even treats to try to save all of them. It just,
Dude,
I don't
even
know.
Even in Superman.
And in Superman. And the only plot we get is, hey man, this is very different than how you felt in that Superman movie. That's all we got. I don't know. I'm just kind of over the character already. I'm just waiting for him to have his inevitable death at some point, and that's it. But yeah, I mean, the best thing I could say about this is, for me, Economist, I thought he was better this season than last season for me. I think that was a huge win. I agree with you, Blake. You may say this, but I know when you're telling me that season one, he was pretty bad acting wise. Really, I agreed with you on that one. And it wasn't until the finale where I was kind of starting to actually like his character. This season, he was so much better. He was genuinely funny. And they definitely felt like a good, fun team together. So I hope we get more seasons. But it doesn't really feel like that's even a possibility. And then it kind of really doesn't make sense with that kind of lackluster finale, like you said, Alex. So I don't know really how I feel about the show.
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with you that I think this season did a good job of like building the characters a lot. But like you said, it doesn't seem like it seemed like it was building towards we're getting more seasons, but it feels like we're not. From like James Gunn hasn't confirmed it, and almost sounds more like he hasn't officially said there's not going to be one anytime, but he has said like we don't really have plans of it right now. So like I agree that this season was good building for them, but if it's not going to continue, that build was kind of for nothing. So it's kind of just like that was just an odd choice. But yeah, I definitely agree that I think all around acting performances in this season, definitely I felt like everybody stepped it up big time. And yeah, like I said, I thought Economist was that Steve Agee was the actor. I thought in season one he was terrible. Like to me, I was like, this looks like a guy who's never acted before. Like he was thinking about his lines, I felt like. And so I thought all around everybody's acting definitely stood, a lot better this one. Including I thought John Cena did really good in this episode doing Vulnerable. I thought the finale at a bio had two different speeches where that actress, Danielle something.
Yeah.
I thought she killed it. Obviously her breakup scene kind of, as well as at the end, or not quite the end, but her bringing Peacemaker back and giving that speech. I thought she did a great job. So yeah, I think all around acting definitely was better. But like you said, it is just a little confusing. Like I thought it was good how much like character development we got for a lot of the characters, but it doesn't seem like it's building towards anything. So it's kind of like you did good building it, but if it's not going to go anywhere, it's kind of like, what's the point of it then? So it's, it just kind of makes it hard to judge how the season went. But yeah, I mean, also I think we had just some kind of funny random things going on in the background of this, that like Eagly being the Eagle Prime, like
Yeah.
that whole storyline in
I
the background of
laughed
everything
throughout
was
the entire
just so
episode.
random and funny. But yeah, like you said, I mean, I will say I do disagree with Alex, you saying like this season it should have been like 4 episodes of like the other, and then the rest of it should have been focusing on like salvation and everything. I kind of enjoy that it seems like this is going to be more of like, if you watch this TV show, like you'll get some stuff, but it's not like homework like Marvel got into the habit of like, you have to watch everything. I feel like this just gave like, if you wanted to watch this show, you could and you'd have more information. But once we get to the movies and stuff, they didn't go too deep into it, that it can all be like reintroduced for people who like us, like it's kind of a reintroduction, like we already know a little bit about it, but people who didn't watch the TV show, like they can catch on right away. So I feel like that was a good move. Like, let's not get to the point of like you have to do homework for all these things. Like, oh, if you want to go see the new Superman, you got to make sure you go watch season 2 of Peacemaker, which if you're going to watch season 2 of Peacemaker, you probably should watch season 1 of Peacemaker. So it's like, I kind of was like, I was fine with them. Like, we're going to deal with our own thing in this and we'll touch on the future for those who watch it. So I did like that part of it, but yeah, it was just a little bit strange, like you said, that again, Rick Flag was very, that part was kind of weird. How, I mean, I will say I don't think it was a complete flip, because like at no point of Creature Commando was he ever like best friends with all of them. Like he was kind of just like, fine, I guess I'll work with them. And like he fought what's his face, like
Clayface.
it's like they never were.
Frankenstein. Yeah.
No, he fought in the castle, the dude who's like the
Dr.
or whatever, Phosphorus. Yeah, he like they had their fight. Like at no point was Rick Flag like best friends with any of them. But I will agree that it just did seem a little bit strange, especially once we got the whole Lex Luthor montage. Like that's when it really got to the point of like how buddy he was with everybody of Lex Luthor. That was kind of strange. Like, why are they all so that, I agree, that was definitely a weird character kind of change that they didn't explore, that maybe in the future we'll learn more of something going on with that. But yeah, it was definitely a very weird feeling.
I know, it almost feels like if like Clayface actually took Rick Flag Senior's spot, you know what I mean? Like it felt like,
yeah, like it something, yeah, like it wasn't him, or he was, yeah, something that wasn't just a normal Rick Flag. Especially because there was a scene of her saying like, oh, I'm sorry, Chief or Captain, whatever, and she's like, oh, I mean Rick. And he was kind of just like nonchalant about it, like, oh yeah, that's right, whatever. Like that does feel like maybe we'll get something about this isn't actually Rick Flag, or it's a different version of Rick Flag. But then at the end of it, him being the one to like send Peacemaker into it makes it seem like, okay, that is Rick Flag, because obviously he still has his vengeance out for Peacemaker. So it's kind of like,
I know, it's just weird.
Yeah, it was definitely
that was
weird.
like the weirdest part.
Yeah, agreed. It definitely was kind of strange of what is going on with Flag.
Yeah. Yeah, the best part about this season is the 11th Street kids and their chemistry with one another. Like you can tell everyone brought it. Like you mentioned, everyone's acting was significantly better. John Cena, I mean, he killed it in the emotional scenes, which, I mean, even I think James Gunn mentioned he wasn't expecting that, but it was like a 3-year gap between season 1 and season 2. And he noticed a significant jump in his ability to go there for those emotional scenes. So I thought he did great as Peacemaker, even though he wasn't really Peacemaker. It was more Christopher Smith most of this season rather than Peacemaker, but that's fine. And what's something else that I want to touch on too? Since we're talking about Lex Luthor's buddies and everything, he did make a cameo, which, I mean, I think we predicted potentially someone from the Superman movie would, and we all thought, if anything, it might be Superman himself, because we saw that one photo of John Cena and David Cornswet taking that selfie on set, so we thought maybe, he's going to show up maybe at the very end of this season, but turns out it was actually Lex Luthor who shows up, which was cool. It was also a bit weird to see him in a rated R context where he's talking about his situation in prison. So that was funny. I thought like the way he spoke, like his cadence and just like his tone just felt more Lex Luthor to me than he even did in the movie. I don't know if you guys felt that, but I was like, okay, this is starting to feel like Lex Luthor. He's getting to like that point of like, you know, Lex Prime, if you will. But I don't know if that was just me.
Yeah, I mean,
That
he
was just
definitely was
fun.
different for sure, but I mean, I know they did talk about that. They actually filmed that scene before they filmed Man of Steel, so that's kind of why it does, or not Man of Steel, Superman. Um, so that was kind of why he did feel a little different, because Nicholas Hoult wasn't still, they weren't finished with deciding how that actor or how he was going to play him. So I know that was part of the reason why tonally he felt a little different.
I was trying to think of like big things that happen. I mean,
We also got the portal was like a big part of it being an actual alien portal that was more stable. So that's something that moving forward, I'm sure we'll also see. Obviously, we know with Planet Salvation being a big deal moving forward, but now Lex being so close with Argus and them being so interested that they now have a stable portal. So that'll definitely be something that the future of the DCEU will have to keep an eye on. But yeah, some other just side thing. Jennifer Holland, I thought Hardcore was a lot of fun this season. I thought, again, she did really good. Her acting, I felt, was good as well, and I enjoyed scenes with her. And then Vigilante is just his basement just being full of all of his drugs and money
So
that he
good
wouldn't,
this season.
was just so funny. And then, of course, when Vigilante went and met had to go find his alternate self in the new one, and their little scenes together were funny. And then the dope battle scene of those two just killing all the cops, and the one killing his dad in the other world was funny. But yeah, Vigilante was again another just funny highlight of this season.
The comedy was definitely so good. Even with just the stupid bird blindness for the Eagly episode, it was just like, oh,
is it
how the fuck
funny?
are you even coming
Yeah.
up with this shit, man? And then it just even the stupid just ask me facts constantly just kept getting me once in a while. It was just, this season was great, and that's what makes me think, I'm like, dude, if this was just a TV show and not what streaming services are now, I'd be so excited for more seasons. But I really just, it just feels like it's not going to happen. So, but definitely a great season 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only other thing that I had was, well, I guess two things. His dad in that universe wasn't a Nazi. That was crazy. I was like, wait a minute, because he was talking to them when he was like, "Oh no, we're gonna let you guys go, just leave," and then I think it was Hardcore who was like, she called him like straight up a Nazi, and he was like, "Hey, don't call me that. Like I don't agree with the establishment, but I can only do so much here." And it's like, I think he said, if you guys fight injustice all the time, all the power to you. And then that's when he starts to go into this thing. He's like, I'm living my life as best I can. And then all of a sudden, Vigilante comes in and just stabs the shit out of him. I was like, oh my goodness. And then Peacemaker realizes, holy shit, he wasn't a Nazi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, that was tough. I was like, if only he had that version of Auggie Smith in his universe, then he probably would have turned out better overall, and the Auggie that ended up dying in season 1, probably belonged more in that universe than that one did. But I think he also mentioned that too, that like he saw his doppelganger one time and it freaked him out, and he didn't like
he saw his
what he saw.
doppelganger, and he said he felt evil. Like he was like, something was off about him. Like he seemed evil. So that was early on before we knew. So it was like, man, if the Auggie living in a Nazi world says that this one felt evil, that's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, it turned out that this one wasn't all that bad. Or I guess we don't know what all he did exactly, but he definitely wasn't as bad as the Auggie Smith in the other dimension.
Yeah, for sure. The only thing I can think of when it comes to James Gunn and like this weird feeling of Peacemaker season 3, is it happening or not, or is kind of like that odd feeling. It's like maybe he's setting you up for it to change into to Checkmate, because it is a group in the comics, and I feel like maybe instead of getting a Peacemaker season 3, it's going to be more centered around the group itself, like Checkmate, and that's how we get more seasons, or if maybe they're going to make it into a film, because you can do it. I mean, if anyone would want to do it and would pull it off, I feel like James Gunn could do that and make these, I don't know, bunch of ragtag group of people like Checkmate aren't really like the top tier teams in DC, but I mean they're known, they're just not the well known ones. I feel like James Gunn could do it.
Yeah, I would definitely not be against if we get a checkmate show instead of continuing a Peacemaker season 3. And I guess who knows? We'll kind of have to wait for Superman Man of Tomorrow to see how much that deals with Planet Salvation and see if that kind of wraps up. If we're gonna see, you know, Chris Smith on Salvation being saved by Superman, or maybe he dies or something. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I definitely would not be opposed if we just switch over to a checkmate show instead.
Yeah, hopefully also John Cena's healthy enough in real life. I don't know if you guys kind of realize in this season they purposely, a lot of camera angles avoided his side by sides when he was walking or anything like that, because he has a slant. And I don't know if you guys have seen any real world, you know, photos of him, but his walk is pretty fucked up.
Nice.
He does not look healthy.
He's still on his WWE.
I know he's made his
good.
recent return. Well, no, he's been doing some events for it. WWE.
Yeah, he's on his retirement tour. This is his last year of wrestling at some of the.
So I'm
events.
hoping it's just the recovery of that, and he's not real fucked up, because it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, he's not.
And I noticed it in this season. You can see it because I watched season 1 pretty close to season 2, and you really saw the difference of how they avoided showing his side, especially in the walking scenes with Hardcore. So hopefully he's okay.
Nah, he'll be fine.
Guy's been through it.
Yeah,
definitely has.
But hey, props to him. He killed it this season. I was honestly surprised. Like, there was a good amount of like emotional scenes I've seen when he first sees his dad, and he meets his grown up brother in like the mansion, and they're having that like heart to heart. And I think it was episode 2, I think. And you know, as soon as Keith leaves, and then his dad kind of like gives him this like gentle touch, he breaks down, because it's like it's everything that he ever wanted. And it's like, and you actually feel that. It's like, damn, you know, that sucks for the guy that, you know, he ended up getting the short end of the stick in his universe. But I mean, I don't know, if they keep doing more with Peacemaker, I would not mind seeing him, whether it's again Peacemaker season 3 or a movie he shows up in, or a checkmate show or movie or whatever. I'm all down for it, especially with the, you know, where they're going and where they're teasing with the world against metahumans, and that whole aspect I feel could be very interesting. It's very mutants versus, like, you know, non-mutants in Marvel-esque. So I'm curious to see how that plays out for sure.
How's he not a metahuman?
Yeah.
How's he not, bro? He was
kick
taking too much damage. That I was just like, this man just gets absolutely beat up by Rick Flag, and then he just like walks out of there, and his face is
he
like
gets kneed in his face,
he's like,
bro.
Nah, I'm good. I'll just like walk around and whatever. I'm like, this man, what are we doing? This dude can take anything.
It was a bit Fast and Furious-esque for sure, man, with that kick 100%.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
I was like, that should have gotten you like permanent CTE, man. That was a kill shot. Yeah, that was a kill shot.
Ridiculous.
I was like, how the fuck did they pull it off to make it look like it? He actually hit him like straight in the fucking face. But it's pretty good. Pretty good. So I don't know if you guys want to mention anything else, or are we good to just give our overall review for the season?
Yeah, I think we're good to do that. I think everyone's kind of touched on whatever they wanted to touch on.
All right, who wants to go first?
Oh, come on, Alex. Thoughts?
Man, it's always me. I don't know. I was kind of back and forth on it, but I mean, I feel good saying as a season, this is probably like a solid like 8 out of 10. You know, it was fun. It was funny. It was enjoyable. Like, it's not, you know, like you guys mentioned, it didn't feel like homework. So, you know, that does give it points, but there's certainly some things where I feel like could have been better, but that's just my personal preference.
I'll go next, and I agree with you. I actually gave it a bit higher. I gave it I'd say an 8.5. I thought they did a really good job. You got keep in mind, season 1 was so long ago, right? It wasn't like 2018 or something, 2017.
No, it was like
3 years.
2.
Was it really that? Oh my god. Well, I forgot that it's not 2022 actively now. 2020's fucked my brain up. Either way, it's a a long time ago and a whole different universe, so to revive it is a lot. I think they did pretty good, and the fact that we're even coming out of this saying that we would want another season, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'll give it an 8.25. Just right in between you two. Yeah, I mean, this season it was a lot of fun. It definitely was a step up from season 1. And it's hard for me to try to fault it for that ending being a little like, oh, I don't know what's going on. It's like at the end of the day, I've really enjoyed the season. You know, they got a lot to work on for entire, world. So it's, don't want to do too much in a TV show. So I thought they did a good amount they gave us a lot of answers and solved things from season 1 and solved stuff in this season, but also gave us stuff for the future of DCU. So I was definitely happy at the end of the season.
And retconned the ending of season 1 by switching them into the Justice Gang.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny. Like starting off the first episode, that was freaking hilarious.
They had to make some changes, which again is another impressive thing with obviously having James Gunn to try to fix all this stuff moving forward in DCU from things that happened in season 1 that he had to choose which of that is canon and which of that isn't. So yeah, all around I think it was just a very greatly done. I think I've seen a lot of people online being overly haters of like the season finale was such a flop because of this and that. I'm like, all right, shut the fuck up. Like at the end of the day, just because we didn't see like the entire Justice League show up and all this stuff, it's like it doesn't mean it was a bad season. Like just because you want a bunch of cameos and everything doesn't mean it was a bad season. You can still enjoy it. So I think they did a good job of that. So I think that's going to do it for this video. As always, let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts were on Peacemaker season 2 and if we will get a season 3 or if it'll switch to a checkmate. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.